Are you a real entrepreneur? Do you have what it takes to succeed in business? Hello, everyone. I'm Tessa with the IdeaPros marketing team, and I have Fred Cary, who is CEO at IdeaPros, and we are going to dive into this topic of entrepreneurship, which is, I wouldn't say that it's basic, because I feel like these are just critical, not basic pieces of information that entrepreneurs need to know about, but they're critical.
Yeah, it's whether you have a fever or not.
if you have a fever for the business side of it or not. Well, so if I know that everyone's popping in right now, so I can see you guys. If you're watching us live, #live. I am going live from a lovely pink room today, so bear with me. I'm on the road. As you guys know, I had the opportunity to go to IdeaPros, which was a blast. And now we are talking to the three main things that you want to cover for entrepreneurs. So number one, well, do you need to lay any foundation for us before we dive into this?
Yeah, number one, that's my room that she's using.
This is Red's.
Hi, everybody. Basically, fundamentally, you have to be a little bit crazy to be an entrepreneur. I've talked about this before, and I think Tessa maybe will be showing a clip at the end that I had recently posted on official Fred Cary on Instagram, talking about whether or not you're a real entrepreneur. But fundamentally, this is kind of the core, the foundational element of everything that you're going to do, no matter what you're going to build, no matter what you're going to try, no matter what you're going to do in being an entrepreneur. And we figured that this would be a good time to rehash this subject. I believe we covered it probably a year ago, and it's time to address it again, maybe in a little bit more detail.
Absolutely. So number one on this list is, are you cut out for entrepreneurship even, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is, and a lot of people that come on our partners, and even with all the support that we give and the guidance and the fact that we do a lot of the heavy lifting, it's still really, really hard. I mean, for our partners, can you imagine doing this all on your own? But even so, doing it with us, it's still very hard, lots of pivoting, lots of going backwards, lots of redoing things over and over again. So all of us have dreams. We all wake up one morning, at some point in our life, thinking about, wow, I'm not going to use the golden widget, Tessa. Wow, I have this great idea, and I don't think it's out there. And you go on Google and you search a little bit, and then you find out, oh my goodness, it's not there at all. I should do something with it. And then you go back to sleep, and then you wake up and you go back to sleep, and 3 months later, 3 years later, you're still thinking about it. And so you want to go pull that trigger. That was the easy part. Getting to the point of pulling the trigger is really the easy part. So just understand that all of us have dreams. All of us have visions. All of us think of things that we believe nobody else has created. But if you're not prepared for the pain, the humiliation, actually, even stresses, the frustrations that happen with entrepreneurship, then maybe this is not the thing for you. You can look at some of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, and most all of them have gone through the same thing time and time again. It's a crazy journey, and it's something that it's not cut out for the average person, because there is no clear road. There is no path to something when you're creating something that didn't exist before. And so therefore, there's always going to be elements of discovery. Sometimes that discovery is, oh, I can't do it the way I wanted to do it. Or, oh, exactly how I wanted to build this, I've now found out there's 3 competitors that are doing it and probably better. There are all of these opportunities for failure that only an entrepreneur will work their way through. And if you don't have that willpower to do that, if you don't have the willpower to sit at the family table at Thanksgiving and have your aunt and uncle and 5 other relatives ask you what you're doing, and you're embarrassed to tell them because you've been working on it for 2 years and you're still not making any money, you're not an entrepreneur. The entrepreneurial journey can go on for a long time. I mean, behind us on our board here, we have 20 products that are going, well, half of them are live already and making money. I don't know that they're even making profits yet, but they're on there. You can buy their product. We have a whole bunch of apps the same way that are in the App Store that are getting tons of downloads. But those journeys took a long time. I mean, we have projects that are 3 years old, projects that are 2 years old, that are just going out now. And if you don't have that wherewithal to stomach it, to go through all these ups and downs and disappointments and frustrations, you're not going to make it to the finish line. Because especially talking now to the entrepreneurs that don't work with us, you're looking at 4 or 5 years typically. You're looking at $1 million or so to get your product from your wake up in the middle of the night dream to something that's going to be out there for sale. If you want to cut it really cheap and cut a lot of corners and miss a lot of things that you should be doing, maybe you're going to spend $500,000. But it is a big endeavor, and you're going to probably mortgage your home. You're going to sell stuff that you have, whether it's stock or your first kid. Yeah, you won't sell your first kid.
I'll buy them. No, just kidding.
You can't do that anymore. But the point is, it's an incredible, arduous journey, and getting to the finish line is really only the starting point. So if you don't have that fortitude to be able to stand in front of people and say, yeah, you know what? I said that I was going to be live with this thing in 3 months, and I know it's a year later. I'm going to be live with this in 3 months. If you don't have the fortitude to go through that process and deal with it and live with it, then you're not cut out for this. But if you are, there's a finish line, and it's not a straight line, but there is a finish line. You just get up and try it again. Here's the last thing I'll say about the subject. Go online and just Google. I was going to put some examples on, but there's thousands of examples. Failures who became successful, entrepreneurs who failed a bunch of times and then became successful. And you'll be surprised at some of the names there, the names of people that you want to be. You want to be exactly like them? Well, go look at their stories. There's tons of failures, tons of them.
And we have a whole show about that too, like in looking at failures as just tests, experiments, if you will, not failures. Not if you have to have darn thick skin, and I know it's not on our list, but I've been my own boss or an entrepreneur since '95, and I can tell you that doesn't matter if you have a product or an app. Being an entrepreneur is it's a journey, and I know we're talking about that now, but it doesn't change when you have all this new complexity of like, we're creating something now. So it's, as a business only, it's tough. Just in managing a business, then you add in like, creating amazing things, it's going to get a little bit more complex. But I know we have, I see you guys over in the comments. Don't worry, I'm going to definitely cut round back and come to you guys. I see you though. So we're going to go through number 2 and then hopefully tie in some of our the questions that we're getting. So I know you said number 2 is, can you take ownership?
Yeah, and by the way, if there's any comments that are really relevant to the particular topic I'm discussing, I'm happy to interrupt myself, because everybody else does, and handle those at the time. But taking ownership as an entrepreneur is the most critical element that you can have, and let me tell you why. When you're creating something, you're going to use all the resources you can find, whether working with us, if not working with us, going to engineering firms and research report writers, design firms, naming and logo experts, people who can help you build out your website, people who are experts in advertising, launch partners, crowdfunding marketing organizations, affiliate marketing groups. There's a lot of people out there that you can blame. Manufacturers, even engineers. There are so many people along this road that you can blame instead of taking responsibility and taking ownership. And the hallmark of an entrepreneur who is doomed to failure is an entrepreneur that will not take ownership and accept responsibility for every single thing that happens. Even here in IdeaPros, when I talk about the leadership in the organization, I talk about issues that don't get resolved or problems that we have or a partner that's not happy. I ultimately take ownership for all of it, even if I didn't directly have anything to do with it, because it's on me at the end. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're building something and you're getting all these building blocks to help you create what it is that you want to make. And so when one of those building blocks don't fit right or don't, it's like a Rubik cube, they don't line up the right way, it's up to you to figure it out. And the more you get frustrated and upset and want to lash out to the people that are working with you, the less of an entrepreneur you really are, because entrepreneurship is about creating solutions. Entrepreneurship is about solving problems. You can't solve when you blame, right? When you blame anybody for even if it's something that is absolutely somebody else's fault, you can't blame. It's like the Wright brothers. How many times did they try to go up in an airplane? Complete disasters. They just sit around blaming their engineers, the designers. They didn't sit around blaming the guys that were working as mechanics. They got up and rebuilt it and tried it again. And that happens throughout the course of history, and that's happening today. Somewhere in the world, many places in the world, it's going on right now. And a real entrepreneur is going to say, what do I need to do it better? Maybe I didn't explain it well enough to my engineers. Maybe my web designers didn't really get my vision. And instead of going to them and saying, you guys designed a shitty page for me, you have to sit down with those people and say, hey, I think I didn't express myself well enough. These are the elements I'd like to see that I'm not seeing. When you have this kind of companionship with the people that are working for you, then you're going to get things done. When you have this antagonistic, you guys messed me up, then you're not taking ownership. And if you can't take ownership as an entrepreneur, you can't be an entrepreneur.
Right. It doesn't get you anywhere if you are in that negative place. And I know, Timbo, you were talking about if it's not constructive, there's no place for it. And I know we have lots of Vanessa is saying, so true. Ownership is very much needed. It's very much, you can set your mindset when things are going wrong. And we've talked about the ups and downs. You set your mindset as far as how you're going to take it and what it's going to do to you and your business. And so, yes, I mean, we've all had to, the buck stops with us as entrepreneurs, and we've all had to take that responsibility on. And sometimes it's really negative, but you can turn it around and make it not as detrimental to you and to your business, because getting mad doesn't solve the problem. It has to be a collaborative.
I think it's even deeper than that. It's not, things aren't problems, things are opportunities. Mm-hmm. If you want to try, let's suppose you want to go to a market in a certain way and that market gets shut down. For example, if you're in a restaurant business, right, and you open up your restaurant and a week later you have coronavirus show up, you can't, what good is it going to do for you to blame anything? As an entrepreneur, you got to sit down, all right, what am I going to do? I have this facility, how can I turn this around? And when you're one of the first people that are out there saying, we'll deliver to your home, or we have free chef services, find your situations, because they're always fluid and your solutions are sitting in there. When you're not blaming, then you have a problem. You have no problem in finding solutions. When you are blaming, you'll never find any solution. And solutions are always out there. Look, I practice what I preach. We had a whole bunch of apps and a whole bunch of physical products that, in my mind, when they came out and they're ready for market, they weren't up to what I believed in. They weren't up to what I felt I owed our partners, I basically lost $700,000 in saying these things will not go out. Let's redo them. I didn't go to any one of my partners and say, hey, these things happened to me and I want more money. I took the responsibility. I took ownership. And I know, because I'm seeing things coming out now, and it's night and day different from where we were. If I didn't take the ownership, the worst thing I could have done is delivered a C+ product that my partners would be happy with. They're like, oh, okay, because they've never seen it before. I know for me, it's not good enough. And if it's not good enough for me, it's not good enough for my partner. And so I took the responsibility. I took the ownership. I didn't complain to anybody. I forked out $250,000 extra in order to get the job done the right way. And that's what entrepreneurship is like. And it doesn't end, folks.
That would be your next point. Yes. So are you prepared for an endless journey? It doesn't end. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at any company in the world, even the most successful companies, even companies like Google and companies like Facebook. What if they had to do as successful as they'd been? You know, Facebook has to go buy Instagram, and I think, is it Google or Facebook? I don't remember which one, but WhatsApp. You know, you're always trying to find a way to grow, to maintain momentum, to increase your market share. And no matter how successful you get, you can't sit there on your laurels. It's a continual process. The creative process that an entrepreneur goes through doesn't stop when that first product gets sold. It goes on and on and on and on. And you can look Elon Musk, right, with the Tesla. Well, then he started building the Powerwall so he can bring solar into the home. Then he started building out solar tiles so that you can have a more attractive solution on the top. I wouldn't even talk about SpaceX, but the reality is that entrepreneurial journey, even after you succeed, doesn't end. So if you have this kind of finite view of, I'm going to use it, I have my golden widget and I want to get it to market. And when you get that golden widget to market, you're all happy and that's the end of the story. Even then, you're just somebody who sold something. You're not an entrepreneur, because that entrepreneurial journey is endless. And you need to be prepared for that. You need to be prepared for all the elements of this endless journey that will hopefully continue through your lifetime and then being passed on to your kids, where they're going to ruin it all. No, hopefully they won't do that. But the point is, this is a journey that never ends. And when you wake up tomorrow morning and you have that great product idea or that great new app that you want to build, the first thing you need to think about is this something that I'm prepared to continue doing for the rest of my life? Is this something that I'm prepared, no matter how successful I am, to make it bigger, to make it better, to look around, to go into different verticals, to have my 1 product, my 3 products, my 30 products? Is this a journey that I really want to take? And if it is, you're an entrepreneur.
I love it. Thank you so much, Fred. And I have a couple people that I wanted to pop comments in from, because they were really good. Vanessa, thank you. Passion and ownership are key components. It's true. And so I know that we have some people in here that haven't normally visited with us. So Genevieve, welcome. I know we have you, Mary, Odin, Kelly. Thank you guys so much. Timbo, Michael, and Shelly. I just saw you earlier today, so it was so fun. And actually, Shelly owns one of the products from one of our partners. So it's just so exciting to see everything kind of, evolving, if you will. Or actually, it wasn't Shelly, it was Pam. Anyway, wonderful to see you guys here. So Katie, you crack me up. You were saying that you have people tell you you're crazy for wanting to go on this journey, and it's true. but we're crazy in a good way. If there aren't people like us, the world would be pretty boring, if you ask me.
And we still would not have invented the wheel.
It's true. It's true. So I have a couple questions, Fred. I don't know if you want to take about manufacturers. And let me see if this is just one from Joseph, if it's something that you can answer. Why do large manufacturers shut out the opportunity to explore ideas from outside prospects?
I'm assuming you mean the little guy.
The little guy.
They make all their money making millions of golden widgets. There are manufacturing companies that do work with startups. And in fact, there's one of the biggest ones. They have 178,000 employees that they're based up in the Bay Area. I won't say their name because I don't have permission. They do have a startup program. But you go into that startup program, you're looking at $1 million. And for them, that's a tiny little bit of money, because their normal client that comes in there are spending $10 million, $50 million. The investigatory side of what they build out can be millions of dollars. So if you can go in there and they'll work with you for $500,000 to $1 million, and this is their entrepreneurial group, they think that that's really, really cutting corners and really saving you a whole bunch of money. But if you don't have a lot of venture capital money behind you, obviously that's an insane amount of money. So you have to look for other manufacturing opportunities because those big ones will not work with you. It's just not worth it for them. And part of the reason is not just the incredible amount of revenue that they have to have and profits that they have to maintain. As I said, this one company has 178,000 employees to maintain their overhead. But even when they have a run, a lot of the tools that they have, the equipment that they have, when they start a run, that equipment works best when you're punching out 100,000 units, or at the lowest, maybe 50 to 75,000 units. You can't go there and ask them to make 500 of something unless you have a big, huge checkbook, and that 500 is only a test sample to make sure that the units are going to be produced the right way.
Got it. Well, thank you. I know that I threw that one in on you, but I wanted to make sure that we had that question answered, because that's today was a little bit more towards the and your mental state when you're an entrepreneur. But our shows cover a lot of information. Every single week we give valuable information to entrepreneurs, and there's no obligation to be a partner at all. We do have some questions. I know I see your question, Bill, and I think that's best answered. Fred, we can take that one offline so you can chat about that one. But Goliath is amazing. It's a high-rise sports chair. It's awesome. You guys should go check out and see what Bill's up to over there, because he needs to get to his minimum order quantity as soon as possible so he can get.
Well, that's one of the ones that we're putting live on crowdfunding.
Yeah, and he's such a good guy, and he's worked so hard. He's been on our shows in the past. So I know I see Robert, and I just got a chance to meet Robert recently. So thank you guys for popping on these shows. Fred, I can let you go a little early, and I can pop up some just comments that people had, or you can hang out with me. I just think we had so many this time around. They're really happy, positive ones.
Okay, well,
yeah. So I know we have Ken Knoll, and he has Crash Pad. Whoops. And Crash Pad is amazing to keep you from backing your boat, your truck into your boat, but also for many other reasons too. And then Sean Reed mentioned, keep being patient and keep learning how to improve and never give up. It's great. Well, Sean also super supportive.
Sean's a good example with our Sage product that is an app that's going to be coming out. He was literally at the finish line, and I didn't think his real vision was being delivered. And Sean is so patient and works so hard, but he demands excellence, and we certainly didn't have excellence in the finished product that he would have run with, because that's what you do as an entrepreneur. Give me what you got, I'm going to go. And so we redid a lot of the facade of it, the user experience part, and I just saw a couple of screens early this morning, actually, about 5 o'clock this morning, and they're awesome. They really are. It's light years ahead, and it really very powerfully and succinctly lays out the solution, which I think is going to really be amazing.
Absolutely. Perfect. And Sean Reed, he is pure energy, that's for sure. And then Winona, I see you over there. I see you, and I got to participate in the video of your product recently, so it's exciting.
They're shooting more video today, actually.
Yes, but it is cute. I love it. I can't wait to get mine.
Well, I think launching in about 5 weeks or so. So.
Yay. Okay. Well, then I know, Vanessa, thank you for your comments. We love the show. We appreciate having you guys all here. We're here every Friday at noon Pacific time, despite wherever I am in the world. It's kind of like, where's Tessa? Where's Waldo? I'll be back soon. Oh, yes. And Bill, Goliath high-rise sports chair. And put your link in there, Bill, over to it if you can. That would be great. So thank you guys for being here. We'll see you guys next week. And if you are not getting reminders yet, there's a link in the post and we will let you know when we go live. I'm sorry that today was a little last minute technology difficulties, but I'm glad you guys all made it. So we'll see.
We were working on this board that's going live in 5 days. That's
perhaps that was a part of it. Hey, emergency meetings are fun, right? We love you guys. We'll talk to you guys all next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.